But did you guys play at any point where there were the air tunnels?
No.
They were the sickest fucking thing that Fortnite did. There was these
Point, you next thing you know, I have to be the one. Everything falls on me to freaking somehow win this 1v1. This motherfucker just freaking Akuma fucking dying 1,000 fists my ass.
Actually, I can just search up Game Boy. Oh, I have to be careful about what I'm spelling. Here's a list of things you'd have to do in your life if you took this, and then this. And I was like, I could do that. But I was driving for 12 hours today. And I was like, okay, can't really be on my phone doing that. So, that's why I'm wearing shorts. I don't wear shorts.
God, you have legs.
Dude, I have fucking legs.
Ew, you got.
know.
Ew, you have sinew and tissue and cartilage and capillaries.
You know what I also got?
You have anatomy.
Welcome to Schoner Podcast. We have anatomy. Welcome to Schoner Podcast, the most educational podcast out there. That we don't have a theme this episode.
Before something else gets released in the next and we're done.
We stopped being educational about 6 months ago.
We've never given anything. What, Joseph? Because you were.
I don't know. I felt like our AI episode really showed people the depths of which we will go to squander the gifts that technology has given us. I thought it was very educational. I don't know what all y'all are on about.
Dude, the AI episode was very educational, and also one of it. We haven't had an episode become in my top 5 recently. That was one that shot to the top 5. I was like, oh, that was funny. I think any episode that almost gets us canceled is like, oh, let's go.
I just wanted to say too. I must have this on record, but my apologies to Funker for missing that episode. I know what FOMO feels like, and FOMO fucking sucks. It sucks to miss out on that window. So I'm hoping we get a chance to make it up to him next time he's on the show, and my computer doesn't fuck me over. We're gonna let him have some prompts. So Funker, when you hear this, you're gonna get some prompts on the house. Other than not much else we can do, right? We have a recording time. We decided when to do it. But yeah, trust me, I've had some FOMO experiences, and they're the fucking worst. So I just, as an act of empathy, I hope we can make it up to you, bro.
It's one of the reasons why it's been hard for me to ever leave Destiny, because freaking it's like I've been committed to this game freaking for years now, and it's hard for me to freaking even for long periods of time unless I'm bored out of my mind. Freaking, I'm afraid I'm gonna miss something. And shit that I still haven't even done in the game yet that other people have done by now already.
I think my worst FOMO is just in life in general, because I'm always afraid I'm gonna miss something. That's why I don't have a schedule, because my schedule is scheduled of everything. So that's why I don't have just freedom in the schedule anymore, because I book myself so I don't miss out on anything, and I miss out on shit, and I'm like, where would I put it? I had no time for it, so I missed out on it. But it's like, where do I have time for it?
When motherfuckers are dropping off like freaking flies, freaking getting shot out of the air with a freaking raid or something, freaking, I was still playing Destiny 2 even at its worst moments.
You should have left. You know that FOMO? Should have dealt with it. No.
I can do that with Call of Duty easily, because freaking I've missed so many Call of Duties. Freaking I literally skipped Call of Duty. I was late to the party when it came to World War II and freaking Vanguard, for crying out loud.
Yeah, but Call of Duty is one that you can skip. Go ahead, Joseph.
I want to hear from developers who grew up playing finished games on the Sega Genesis or the 64, or probably by the PS2. I think that was the last golden age of consoles, because everything after that, games would be released, but they weren't done, nor were they finished. Oftentimes games would come out as betas, and then they would still tack on the full price tag for it. And we've seen that to this day, this deterioration of what gamers get up front. What I'm getting at with this is that I think as game developers, most of them probably hate the fact that the work that they put into only lasts in the game for a limited amount of time. Now, we've all been on Fortnite, but the game that actually came to my mind first was Guild Wars 2. I played Guild Wars 2 like crazy for the first 3 months, And then a lot of the people I was playing with dropped off, and so my interest waned. And then the fact that getting on again 3 months down the line, 6 months down the line, meant acknowledging that when I get back to playing it, I will have missed out on all of this content, drove me further away from wanting to get back and playing it. It'd be one thing if I can kind of like go through and see everything that I had missed, but I couldn't. That's just part of the design. It's part of keeping people engaged, because somewhere along the way, developers became afraid to just make a game that's really good and fun to play and has high replayability, and likewise players forgot to make the games fun as well and actually like replay games. And so now you have people who are just sitting around waiting for something to happen. So I feel like developers would be really pissed off these days. Oh, I worked so hard on creating this whole map with skyscrapers, or in Fortnite there was, you guys have been playing me more than me lately, which by the way, I have to make sure to mark that on my bingo card. But did you guys play at any point where there were the air tunnels?
No.
They were the sickest fucking thing that Fortnite did. There was these like this monorail system all throughout it, but you weren't on a train. You were the train. There was air tunnels that would take you all the way through. It's the coolest fucking thing, and it's gone. Why? Why is it gone? Somebody worked hard on this. Gamers would still appreciate it, and it's just gone. So I don't know, man. But like all of the games that I collect in my retro collection, PS2 games, GameCube games, some PS3 stuff, because Jen's got all the Sony consoles, so I can collect them with impunity. But everything that I collect are all games that are done, that are finished experiences that I can enjoy, and in fact enhance my enjoyment by running it on an emulator and having some like graphical upgrades to it, or some audio upgrades to it. But it's fucking weird, man. You know, World of Warcraft is on like 3 like running versions now. There's retail, which is always like the most recent expansion release. There's Cataclysm right now, because about in 2019 they re-released the vanilla servers, and that's 2. It's 2 instances of World of Warcraft. You think that would be enough? You think that's enough? That's not enough. Now there's a 3rd one, which is the one that I'm playing, by the way, called Season of Discovery, where they deliberately stop the game before they get to any of the expansions. And we actually know that it's going to end. So the whole thing, the entire Season of Discovery, is one long FOMO trip, because you're not even leveling up a character to know you're going to keep it. But we don't know what's going to happen to our characters. We're playing these fucking things for months now, and at the end, the character might get transferred to another version of it where the balances are all different. We're not even playing the same character. I don't know, man. It's fucking strange, and I don't remember exactly who thought this was a good idea, but everybody loses. It's bad for profit, because you're constantly having to expend resources to make more shit. And you're constantly having to market this stuff out so players can continue to play. Or why not just have, like, you know, history chapters, or just like, hey, play through season 3, play the chapter, have an ongoing story mode. That's what they did in Fortnite. I don't know. I'm done. I
love the rant. I fucking love that, because you brought up a lot of good points. It's like all these developers are making the game, and dude, I can't imagine going back in just 2003. They're making these games, they're grinding it out, and then once the release date, everyone's celebrating. They're like, we did it, guys! We fucking did it! And then you have games like Fortnite now that, not saying anything they did is wrong, but it is the question. They make this hard graphical situation of having you become a modal transport unit to fly around the map in this tunnel you're saying about. And then for them to go, okay, guys, that was great. We fixed all the bugs for you guys. It's all good. But it's going to go away in 28 days. But I also get it, because you got the FOMO, and that's probably what they're trying to get on. They're probably trying to get you on the whole fear of missing out. Come log in, and then once you're on it, you're playing it. You're getting the battle pass. You're giving them money. You're giving them the reason why they're doing this stuff. To where it's like, oh, you want this Fallout's now thing. So they're like, oh, you want this Fallout stuff? Oh, you better get it now. You better get it now, because it's not gonna be here. So, but as a game developer, dude, like, that must fucking suck, especially in a game like Fortnite that don't have stuff to where it's like, hey, we did this, you can go back in this and you can play it.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it's
you can't get any of
you
the
get
rewards
this, it's
for it,
done.
but you can at least experience it.
Yeah, no, they just throw it out the window. They go, okay, yeah, developers, the sleepless nights, yeet! It's not a thing anymore. So I get that.
That's a nice thing about Final Fantasy 14. Outside of stuff thinking that was in the game when it was in 1.0, and whenever when it comes to shit during the realm, there was in the game during the Realm Reborn era, which they pruned out because they were trying to make it easier and quicker for people to get to Realm Reborn and get to Heavensward and Stormblood and everything. Freaking that, pretty much everything that's in the game. I ain't going anywhere unless they decide to change something that has to do with one of the jobs, which is basically the classes, by the way.
What game were you popping up, by the way? Charles, for audio listeners, Charles was popping up a game.
Need for Speed Underground too.
Picked it up at a flea market. I mean, not flea market. I wish I could go to a flea market. They were picking an antique mall.
Oh, okay. Nice.
This is a full, complete game, and so is the first one, and Most Wanted, which are my 3 favorite Need for Speed games.
Luckily, Need for Speed, I think, did a very good job at kind of saying, hey, the game is done, it's released, and it's good. Now, I know I'm going to say that, and people are going to immediately bring up, like, yes, well, with this one, they did yes, I get it. But I think they probably had the longest lasting, hey, game's out, it's done. Hey, game's out, done.
Mm-hmm.
Game out, done. Like, they can release something and then going, it's finished. Let's start on the next
even a lot of the Guitar Hero games, even when they added in extra songs and people were able to download songs off the freaking like Spotify, whatever they had back in the day, they had more than enough content in those games for people to do. And don't even get me started on some of those achievements.
Dude, that's I want to talk about the achievements for a minute after this little bit, but so that's actually a good point because Guitar Hero is how old now? And they were like the first people to do DLCs in a weird way because they were like, "Hey, get music, download them on there."
I think Guitar was like 13, 14 years old.
2007,
2007, 2008. I remember playing it in college when it first came out, and I was in college from 2007 to 2009.
Okay,
I'm old. I'm not old, but I'm aging.
I think I feel I grew up with PS2, a Game Boy, and an original Xbox and shit like that. You actually had to go outside if you wanted to find something to do.
2005 is when it was made.
Charles, I see where you're going with that, but I'm 34. We had to go outside and have things to do too. We had Game Boy Pockets. We couldn't even see what we were doing.
Dude, you were out there trying to get in this shade just so you can see your 8-bit character, just so you can avoid the grass so you can fucking make progress before your mom says, "Come inside, you dumb bitches." No,
Remember
just my mom? Okay.
No, that was baseball practice.
Remember that, and I only know this because somebody showed it to me once. I talked about doing like a live stream I watched with somebody's. They used to have this lamp attachment for the Game Boy that you had to get if you wanted to play your Game Boy at night.
Yes. I didn't get one for the Game Boy Color, but I got one for the Game Boy Advance, the thing that looks kind of like the PSP. We ended up getting those because my family used to love taking road trips, and but we only had one of them, and there was a car with 3 of them. So it would be, oh, my sister's sleeping, steal, and then put it on mine, and the battery would not last a lick of shit. So It would be dead before the Game Boy would be dead. So and then you just wait until you pass when your parents drive past a lamppost, and you're like, okay, oh yeah, okay, I'll wait for another one. So man, that's nostalgic right there.
You wanted to mention something about achievements, but let me just say real quick, some of Nintendo's best work was the Game Boy Advance SP. Except for the fact that the clamshell one. Except for the fact that they forgot to put in a headphone jack for some reason. I think that was honestly like a last minute, like, oh shit, oh fuck, oh no, we've got the headphone jack. I genuinely think they just forgot. They were so happy with what they made. But aside from that, obvious oversight, the Game Boy Advance SP is one of the best design things that it's probably still worth getting now because the games are all done. So
yeah, no updates needed.
A small fortune though. I mean, for the SP, it probably cost small fortune. It's on sale now, but my freaking 3DS was like $300 when I got it.
Well, that's also a 3DS, so let's search up... actually, I can just search up Game Boy... Oh, I have to be careful about what I'm spelling. Game Boy SP. Okay.
That was a good one.
Oh, that's actually not bad. So for the red one, that I think most people are the most common with, because the red one was like the standard one they launched with, and then they released the blue one. I think for Pokemon. I don't correct me on any of this. I was not that knowledgeable then. But you can get one that hasn't been touched that is still on there from Nintendo, but been used for $219. That yeah is pretty pricey. You can almost buy an Xbox Series X for that. So an Xbox Series S for that.
I was gonna say
it's still definitely pricey. Now I have all of mine from growing up. I have my Game Boy Color, I have my Game Boy Advance, and I have my Game Boy SP. I have my brother's Game Boy SP because he stopped playing. He's like, "I'm gonna fucking play this." So I was like, "Mine."
and they also work perfectly fine. The batteries don't need to be replaced.
Dude, yeah, let's talk about that too. Dude, they were ahead of their time because Nintendo said, "Hey, Game Boy." I think it was just a Game Boy. They were like, "Hey, our game cartridges are pretty big, almost half the size." It was bigger than the actual screen of the Game Boy. They're like, "Oh, okay, this is kind of a thing." And then they said, "Let's make Game Boy Advance," and then the cartridges still fit. They were able to make another system and made it work with the older games. And then they said, "Hey, let's go ahead, let's do it again." And it worked again. Like, so these are games that you can actually buy, play the game, and enjoy of what the developers gave you. Unfortunately, there's not a lot with like actual like audio cues to it. But dude, the classic Zelda sound when you switch around the sword to break the pots will always be in my ear at 6 o'clock in the morning. I would wake up and play that.
I remember like thinking the older Pokemon games before they started actually giving them color and everything, like with red, blue, yellow, crystal,
what's funny
silver,
is that
gold.
I think all those early games, and not just Pokemon, but like the early Mario or the first Metroid, I think all of those games were still developed in color. They just weren't released in color. Because if you ever try plugging like an original Game Boy game, like pre or I guess post Depression Game Boy games, and plug those into a Game Boy Color, I don't because I remember plugging something and I remember, oh wow, Metroid actually has some colors, but I think it's like augmented color so that the shading is correct in black and white, so it's almost like a kind of a reverse colorblind thing. But if anybody ever wants to do that, I think there's some interesting things that you can see by putting a black and white intended game into the Game Boy Color. I also just wanted to say too, in terms of like value proposition, I think the original Nintendo DS is a pretty damn good thing because you can play Game Boy Advance games on that. So you get the entire Game Boy Advance library and the entire DS library. I actually just pulled up my Nintendo 2D 3DS because I dropped my limited edition Zelda 3DS and it broke. But Nintendo gave me a cost-effective replacement of it. And I was looking around because anything that I get, I always look for the different holes in the slots that I can put stuff into, and I didn't see the Game Boy Advance slot, so I need to have a closer inspection under Candlelight. But for the time being, I think one of the best like handhelds that you can get is actually just like one of the original DS, not the 2D 3DS. PSP is another good one too. I actually wouldn't mind getting a PSP, but that was more because it was such a mod-friendly system that once you got a PSP, like your whole like world changed. Oh, and by the way, now we've gotten into more companies are trying to do what Nintendo did with the Switch. That is the ultimate indicator that you've done something right when everyone is trying to copy you. Valve, of course, who are consistently like, one of the best developers in the world. They've got their Steam Deck, and then Asus, who I have no respect for anymore after they screwed me over as a consumer, are also trying to do theirs. And I linked you guys this in the chat, and so I encourage people to look it up. But their version of the Steam Deck is a fucking joke. The whole company has gone down as a fucking joke. I wrote in one of the comments, one of the videos I linked you guys is, it's a real shame. When I was younger, I remember Asus was like the Blizzard of computer companies. But here we are in 2024, and Asus is now the Blizzard of computer companies.
And I was gonna say, you could, if you know how to, if you know somebody that knows how to, you could easily jailbreak a PSP and get every fucking game on that motherfucker.
See, the thing that with the PSPs is that's how I got to watch the Three Stooges. I had no idea who the Three Stooges was, and my brother ended up downloading them on his PSP. So after we were supposed to be going to bed, me and my family, the younger ones, would all gather around this tiny little fucking PSP screen and watch the Three Stooges with almost no audio. That's how I've watched like a lot of shows growing up because we didn't have like a shared computer. It was my mom and dad's computer in their room. So, but yeah, we downloaded movies on there for free. I forgot how it was done, but there's a way you can do it. I'm pretty sure if I asked him if I could borrow his PSP without the porn, I'm pretty sure I could show the episodes still on there. There was definitely porn on there. We didn't watch that as a family. That would be a little more Italian, but.
The only issue that I remember that people really had at the PSP was the fact that the battery died or melted. Something I don't know, something with the battery with the PSP or the 3DS that was a problem that people had. I haven't had that issue with my 3DS yet, but freaking knock on wood. Other than that, PSP from what I've been told was a pretty good handheld, and it kind of stinks that PlayStation didn't stick with doing handheld stuff along with their main system.
You're thinking of the DS. The DS had battery problems. Because it says here the original PSP, the only thing it had was stick drift, and it would cause damage to your screen. So it would cause like motion sickness and stuff like that to people. Obviously, don't people listening, don't take my fucking quick 1 second Google search as the main answer, but I have the ability to use Google.
Current day shit.
Dude, stick drift is Xbox #1 biggest moneymaker. Because either A, pay $200 for an Elite controller, or pay about $50 if you're a hardcore gamer, spend about $50 every 2 months and get a new controller. And you just keep doing that because you're like, I can't play Call of Duty when I'm trying to sit there and get my headshots in. My guy's like, okay, nope. Okay, nope. Okay, nope. It would
That's
be the worst.
I was dealing with in Fortnite.
I can tell. So, okay, I want to dive into the achievement part here because it connects with Guitar Hero, and we'll talk about Fortnite. So with Guitar Hero, kind of stepping that back in. So Charles brought up some of the achievements are bullshit. I did not realize Guitar Hero is like everyone's worst nightmare as an achievement hunter. There is one achievement on there that is the hardest achievement to get ever. And it is beating every single song perfect in a row. So if it has 92 songs, you have to beat every single song perfectly, no mess ups, and you cannot stop. So you have to go.
The hardest difficulty.
Yeah, and at the hardest difficulty. So you have to play this game for just quick math, for about 4 hours. You have to play this game nonstop, 4 hours. And even then, if you miss just one, you miss one fucking click, and it's gone. It is gone. I will say though, I want to attempt this achievement and then use like aimbot, like use cheats to just automatically click the buttons. Because honestly, here's the thing: the games are dead. No one is gonna get that achievement. Honestly, no one's gonna be like, guys, it's 2028. I've been working on this achievement for 20 years. No, the fuck you're not. Don't even try. You're gonna use the same thing I'm going to use and get like an auto clicker. No, don't even fucking try me on that bullshit. I'm not falling for it.
Any of the games that had online related achievements, you're definitely never getting those.
So there's a myth that with some of them, like the Xbox. So like the Xbox One, they say that there is some games, if you load up into a private lobby, it counts as a server, and then you can get those games. Resident Evil 5 is one of them. So Resident Evil 5 has a lot of versus challenges on there, but you can't really play with people, and there's a lot of hackers on there that just make everyone big titties and dicks flinging around. That is fun to play. Highly recommend it. But then you also end up ruining what could be your Microsoft account because everything's connected now. But if you load into a private match with people to go versus with, it still counts. And the same thing with Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead has the same achievement that you can't access, but Left 4 Dead is so much easier to play on servers still, thanks to Steam. And plus, people can mod the hell out of it already. Why would they want to break the game? They can already mod the hell out of it, so it works. But yeah, that's why I wanted to wrap into Guitar Hero. It was brought up the hardest achievement, and I was like, oh, well, it actually is one of the hardest achievements, and how I will make it my bitch.
Yeah, I wonder if the guy who beat Dark Souls with a Guitar Hero guitar has considered doing that challenge. Well, it was one of the Dark Souls. Maybe it was Bloodborne. Maybe it was Elden Ring. But someone beat one of those Souls games using a Guitar Hero guitar.
I don't know, but I think that would be awesome to see if that's something he would do. But once again, you miss one button. If your controller is broken or not clicking right, like, I have arthritis. It's like...
I've only ever played Guitar Hero 3, and the only song I ever got a perfect on in that game was I Wanna Rock You All Night, or whatever the hell it was. It was freaking that song by Kiss.
I know what song you're talking about, but the only Guitar Hero I ever played is when Walmart used to actually be cool, and I missaid Walmart, and I'm sorry, not. I think I had more of an R in Walmart. But anyways.
Oh, I thought you accidentally said the wrong store. Like you meant to say Targets or something.
Oh, no. I meant to say Walmart. I just missaid the word.
Okay.
But yeah, so remember when Walmart used to actually be cool, and as soon as you walk in, you would have displays, and then like sometime whenever Guitar Hero or Rock Band was big, they would actually have it set up like GameStop used to. The last time I played it, Guitar Hero, was at a Walmart, because I remember walking in and seeing that, and I was like, fucking let's go! Oh, we're supposed to hit... Nah. So...
You can blame all the shoplifters and shit like that for that. And guys freaking corporate higher-ups are freaking dicks and take all the fun away.
I blame the children. I blame the children and the parents, because the children are the ones that are not being responsible, but then you can say that's the parents' fault, and that's why I am including the parents, is because the parents should be like, Billy, stop fucking hitting it that hard. You piece of shit, you should have been swallowed. Like, they need to have some control of their children. But it's like, here's the number one thing is, though, when a company does something that usually screws everyone over, it's usually because of one person did something outrageous and they had to remove it. So if that's picking it up, walking out the store with it, that could be it. If it's someone literally sitting there smashing it apart in the game store, that could be it too. Screws it up for everyone. I don't blame the overlords of Walmart, even though they are kind of scummy pieces of shit. Selling American flags made out of China, but I guess that's just America. But you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is.
Was that a film industry barbecue? It's not like a huge thing or anything. It was mostly Asian people in like the 40s and 50s, because they were doing this show and they had to cast almost exclusively like Asian people for it. And so my girlfriend was cast as one of the background, but they all stayed friends and do these occasional get-togethers, and I get to go as Jen's plus one. And one of the guys shows up in a Spider-Man costume, just for the fun of it. So he's hanging off the tree. We're taking some photos. It's all fun and games. And then about like four boys, probably about like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old, and they just start heckling this guy like I was flashing back to some of the shit I've seen in stand-up. Well, why can't you shoot your web? Tony Stark is better than Spider-Man. Iron Man is better than Spider-Man. Why can't you hang off that tree? Now, another question for you. Who should we have beat the piss out of? The kids or the parents for letting them turn out like that?
That's hard.
Whichever one doesn't let you in jail.
You know what? No, parents. It still has to be parents. Because here's the problem is, I was going to say, could be TikTok. TikTok doesn't help, but why are the kids watching TikTok? Did parents give them a cell phone? Why did the parents give them a cell phone? because they don't want to parent them. I'm not a parent, and maybe I'm stepping a line I shouldn't be stepping, but what's the other alternative? I sit here on a podcast and say, yes, let's beat the shit out of little 6-year-old Billy.
Yeah, that's what I was setting you up for. That was.
But no, I mean it's a good point. Like, who do you sit there now? At that moment, you don't yell at the parents because that you're giving the parents an opportunity to being a fucking adult. So at that point, you'd be like, hey, little Timmy, how about you shut the fuck up and walk away? And then the kid's like, go fuck yourself, you old man. That's when you're like, hey, mother, you're about to see your kid fly. So
that's the thing that I hate about how faking kids are faking great. What kids are growing up with these days. Freaking, I grew up when we didn't have some of the fancy ass shit that we had. Freaking, like I said before, I freaking would go out, spend more time outside than I would when I had a PS2 or an Xbox. And even when I got my 360, I freaking spent a lot of time outside. Freaking, it wasn't until I moved down here where I've spent more time inside than anything else. And I still, even if I have the chance to, and if I have the money to, I still want to go places. If I was living out in the country again, I'd be outside.
Yeah, that's fair. And the thing is it comes back down to parenting and how you're raised. But also, it was a different generation. Because even back when I was growing up, if you hit me in public, you could get police called on you. Even though, as a kid, I'm like, I wouldn't call fucking child services my mom. She would snap my neck. No, I ain't doing that shit. But it's like, but now these days, the kids are like, you want to touch me? Do it. I have 5 cameras rolling. I bought them for $2 off the TikTok shop. I got you. I'll catch your ass in 4K. And it's like, dude, yes, you can sit there and do it. But then if the cops do come, they're going to be like, ma'am, you literally said, come at me, bitch. And then you stabbed him. It's like, you still assaulted your child. So, but it's a different time, different era. We are not parents, so we can't say what, it should be right because they're not parents. We're not living in that situation. But I would say if I do become a parent, please smack me if I give my kid a phone before they're the age of 10. Please kick me in the dick if I let them talk back to me in a rude way or to others. And please just give me a fucking Tucker uppercut. You know what? We're going to scratch that. And once notes start getting written down, it's like, oh, wait, this could come back. This could come back to haunt me. Joseph has a pretty damn good memory. We're not going to do this.
That's what you're worried about, him writing it down?
Yeah, because here's the thing is, the video, we already said so much shit to get canceled. No one's going to be like, well, this one time, he did say you'll get kicked in the nuts. No, they're going to be like, hey, remember this guy said he's going to beat the shit out of a 6-year-old child? They're going to look at that. They're going to be like, hey, remember when he talked about 9/11?
So I remember within the first month that I was playing the World of Warcraft season of Discovery. And usually when people don't have a guild, other guilds will just randomly toss out invitations and think, okay, well, whatever. It's better than being in no guild, which not true, because there are a lot of toxic people who congregate in these guilds, especially in the ones that invite basically anybody. And so I get into this argument with somebody about something that's only going to matter in 2 weeks before the next patch comes out, and it all changes anyways. And it got me thinking, like, the amount of ways that people can be held accountable now for basically anything kind of frightens me. It's almost like we've started policing ourselves more than anything. So I use Seth the Conju because Conjurer was too long. So in World of Warcraft, his name is Seth the Conju. And I was petrified that the argument I got into would end up as a YouTube video like the next day or the next week. And I remember seeing this thumbnail of the guild that I was in. And so I skimmed through it, but like, please don't tell me. Please don't tell me. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. So I got off scot-free with that one. So the lesson that I learned from that is, like, be selective about when I use my most important names. That's why I switched to something different on Fortnite. And I'm very careful now when I use Seth the Conjurer, because people are like afraid to speak out. People are afraid to to get in each other's faces, because you never know who's a streamer or who's a YouTuber or who's a content creator who's going to turn one little altercation that's supposed to just poof, disappear the next day, right? It's supposed to just be water under the bridge. But no, it could end up, I don't know, sticking around for good. And then you never know when that video is just going to have like a resurgence, or people are going to keep calling back to it. It's kind of alarming, because we just want to play games oftentimes to just play and to get out of reality and to just be in a virtual reality for a little while, and to see how easily your mistakes or missteps or just like things that I'm just not thinking carefully about can translate into long-term grief is a pretty toxic part of gaming culture now. The part of gaming culture and content creation that is meshed, because people are just looking to get on top on the algo in whatever way possible. And if that means stepping on other people on the way, especially people who don't have a platform, then so be it.
Yeah, I think it's messed up, and I agree with everything you're saying, especially how the one thing you brought up was, you can't just let things be water under the bridge, because what's going to happen is, even if the person you're having that altercation with, it's not violent, it was just, hey, you fucked up, whatever.
Yeah, people just arguing on the internet happens all the time.
But now it's like, if it's filmed in any sort of way, someone posts it, the internet loves drama. There's people. This is not a new thing. It's been a thing. That's why we have drama channels. I almost said trauma. We have drama channels and stuff like that. Like on TV, Sex in the City. I think that's a drama. I don't know. But, we have Grey's Anatomy and stuff like that. That's like, it's drama, and it wants to bring you in. It's not a new concept. It's just now we watch it on a screen, and in the back of our minds, we've been watching it all of our lives. So we're just like, okay, this is normal. Even though they're real people, they're not actors, but we don't care. If anything, it lets us feel like we have more of a say as people. And it's like, no, stay the fuck out of it. Like, for people like us, unfortunately, we put ourselves on the internet for criticism, for likes and attention, for all this. Now, there's a few things that I would never do, and that I will never say, and things that I would never take action of. And one of them is going to be, if I have an argument with one of you guys, being like a true argument, I'm like, I'm going to post this on social, we're going to get some fucking clean bullets. It's like, no, because I'm going to be like, no, it's fucking, let's figure it out, let's talk about it, let's move on. Like, that's what I would want to have, unless it immediately you go, okay, end it and go, you want to post it? Get some click, get some drama going. It's like, okay, if it's that kind of ordeal, sure. But it's not the point. The point you're bringing up is, you can't even have a conversation that might get a little loud now, because you're just worried what's going to happen. You're worried about, is he recording this? Does he have a following? If he doesn't have a following, is this be the thing that blows him up? And then when you go to a job interview, they're going to be like, oh, sir, according to this, on your Tiki-Talkie Live, in December 11th, you told this guy to fuck off, or I will kick you in your face so hard you will never feel your nose again. It's like, dude, that was 2 years ago. Doesn't matter. And it's like, dude, that could, especially for you wanting to be in the fields you're in, could ruin your career. And it's bullshit. I don't know. I was going to say, I think we should have a room that we should be able to go in and have an altercation with people, but then that's just a cockfight. That's all that is.
So when are we gonna open this up?
I figured January 11th. Just keep it to the 11th.
You have this resource pool. You have 9/11. You have January 6th, and you're like, you've been picking and choosing which one. December 11th, February 6th.
I'm trying to spread it out, because I'm just thinking, there was 9/11, January 6th. Yeah, I could say the 17th, but what is that?
Yeah.
Father's Day? No one cares.
So let me balance this out, because I've done a lot of criticism, and I want to balance this out a little bit. So when the people that I was originally playing WoW with, they all either quit or started ignoring my messages, and so I was deciding, do I really want to keep playing this game, and if so, why? And I decided that I'm going to keep playing it because I hold this game very dear on a personal level, and I want to kind of carve and forge my own experience, and I want to have some actual good memories associated with it. And so, like I said, some people will recruit in that like broad way where they'll just send invitations to everybody. But the guild that I ended up joining did recruitment the way I used to recruit when I was a teenager leading a Guild Wars guild, which is play with them first, do an instance. They take like 20 minutes, do a couple of quests together. They take a couple of, they take 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. Just see how the vibe is, see if you gel. And at the end of the run, say, hey, by the way, I noticed some of you aren't in a guild, or maybe you're not too happy with the guild you're in. So just so you guys know, we're recruiting. And so I asked them, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how chill are you guys? They say, very chill. I was like, okay, perfect. So I join up, and as far as I know, everyone in the guild are my friends. I haven't had any drama that I can think of, right? Fingers crossed, knock on wood. But the difference between guilds now in WoW and why I'm still passionate about playing it and I'm still giving Blizzard, money every fucking month is that now your guild can actually build into more of a long-standing community outside of the game. So even if people quit, they move on, start playing other games, or just need to take a break, the social side of it and the understanding of what's important to us as players still sticks. So now in that guild, some of the people are in Florida, and I'm taking a trip to Florida, so I actually get to meet some of them and become their friends. This has always happened, by the way, but I feel like it's a lot easier to do now thanks to Discord than it was in the past, because we can clip, we can share pictures, we can have conversations, and I can just check Discord chat messages, throw in my 2 cents when I feel it's necessary. And so I feel like even if maybe I'm not having a blast on the game, or it's kind of like a low point of the game, which we're currently going through right now because of the way the seasons are phased out, is that it can still feel like an investment towards a long-term community. So that is something new that I feel happens a lot easier than it did in the past. In the past, it was a little bit clunkier. Ventrilo, TeamSpeak, I think Roger Wilco. It was okay for like small groups to chat, but it was really hard to manage once you got into like larger groups. And then people had to like open their own websites, or like open like a free forum website, and you had to convince people to get onto a forum, and it was all very clunky. We still did it, right? People still got married back in the day, but nowadays you can really start to meet people that fit your mindset, and know that, because you can not only talk to them in chat, but you can kind of see what people are all about in all these other messages. So that's the upside that I just wanted to say as well, is that you can definitely like make friends a lot easier, and have that long-term commitment, even just like once you're done playing the game.
What we had was, you see someone online. At least for me, you see someone online, and you hit them up, and it was usually like strictly gaming, and it wasn't, let's talk about our feelings, let's talk about life. No, as soon as like their girlfriend or someone would walk in the room, mute the mic, and then they would talk, and then like, oh, sorry, I went to the bathroom. So you had no idea, like, versus now, I feel like now it's so much easier, because it's like there is a face behind the mic, and there's a person behind there, and they're willing to actually show you, hey, want to hop in a call, whatever. Or they have a social media, and they're like, hey, I'm very open and very public. Yep. I'm doing all this. It's much easier now. So I definitely agree with that.
I mean, like how we used to be when we only knew each other on Xbox Live, and then freaking...
Yeah. 1998. Forget it. I wasn't even born yet. But yeah, no, I mean, that's exactly how we used to be. But I mean, I remember hanging out with you, and like our friendship really wasn't that, like, I don't know. It really wasn't like, hey, how are your family? How are your parents? How are this? Like, I didn't feel like it even got there until over a year. And then it's like, okay, yeah, I'm constantly on with this dude playing Halo and Call of Duty and stuff like that. And then it started like actually becoming a friendship versus like, me and Joseph. It's like, we met because of work, and then it went okay, and it kind of just went from there. It was so much quicker, just because I feel like it's easier to have that conversation because of the technology we have now, and not on a mic where I sound like a 5-year-old going, "Mom, can you get some fucking marijuana?" So
That's the
I feel
one
like
thing
it's
I
much
figured
better.
that was weird. Freaking, and I said this before. When I reconnected to you thanks to when I found you on Brittany's channel, everything, because I seen you in a thumbnail, and I was like, wait a minute. And then I heard your voice, and I was like, I remember this motherfucker. And then
Yeah,
it's like,
dude,
holy crap, that's what your voice actually sounds like. And I was like,
I
when did all these
forgot
balls
that.
drop?
Yeah, it was, dude, it was literally that, because my voice has pretty well always been the same, but it was the mic. It was a Turtle Beach piece of shit I was using, and dude, it was so bad to where, you heard my voice for the first time, and you're like, "Wait, you sound like a guy." It's like, no shit. What do you mean I sound like a guy? You're like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say anything like that. Just your voice actually, like, your mic sounds much better now." I'm like, "Yeah, because it's not a Turtle Beach headset going through the internet at 5 fucking megabytes a second."
For the record, people, me and Joy never really lost contact. Just when he was working at Amazon, he had like no time to play on Xbox Live, so we weren't able to talk then. And it felt like that was during like one of the worst periods of my life, because that's when my depression was kicking my ass at the time.
Yeah, but I always come back. This is how I know we're good. Yeah, no, I mean that whole time period was super, super weird, just because of the Amazon and everything else. And I see it starting to creep back in, except with this company I'm working however you say it. But I've been trying to make sure, like, if I have any bit of time and I see you're on, I'm trying to make sure, like, let's just get a game or two in. Let's just hop on and play, to the point where Joseph brought it in as a joke, being like, "Hey, let's play Fortnite because you would hate it." And I'm like, "Yeah, I would." And then as we all played, I went, "Guys, uh-oh."
Then it just turned into another game that we regularly play, freaking on a regular basis.
Yeah, except now I'm kind of like,
my controller at the wall half time.
Dude, it's bad, because I don't want to get back into pro playing, but in the same boat, I'm like, what would happen? Like, what would happen is, like, took the game a little seriously. But then when we take it seriously, we fucking die so quick. And it's like, okay, but what if we took it even more serious? And
I kid you not, I have started watching like build videos on Fortnite, because I'm trying to understand what is the gap between me and the little shits. And I was looking at the hotkeys. I thought that was a thing that I thought would be the most prohibitive, if that is that they have some hotkey configuration that I would have to like learn to code in order to do. And a lot of their build combinations are just like F, C, or V. One of them uses Shift to like lay down ramps, and I'm looking at my mouse that has so many buttons on it.
he is grabbing something.
I'm grabbing them. Okay, well, it's plugged in, but so this is for those of you who are on audio. This bus. Okay, this mouse has 12 buttons on it. 12 buttons. It's designed for like MMO, which ironically I still don't use for its intended purpose, even though I'm playing an MMO right now. Actually, 2, Warhammer Age of Reckoning as well, which I'll get into at some point in the future once I've really crash tested it. But there were so many gosh darn buttons on this thing, I just couldn't like, use all of them without exasperating my carpal tunnel. So I ran some tape. I covered up 3 of the buttons. So now pressing it, and then the way it's mapped is that no matter which one you press, it's the same input. So I turned 3 buttons into one big one, and then I took the 6 buttons at the back of the mouse and converted those all into just one big honking button. So I went from 12 buttons down to 5 buttons. So mechanically, I'm set. I just have to like learn the theory all over again for like what are the different moves that people are doing when they're building. But that's the thing that I'm kind of excited about, is that like you guys are good shots. I have my moments, but for the most part, it's the planning, it's the building, it's the game plan that I bring to the table. So for me to actually like kind of like take a step back away from having to also learn the shooting as a priority and just be like, okay, let me really get the building down to a science, and then we're off. We're gonna start kicking ass. As for whether or not we're gonna take it seriously, I think a lot of things in life we're afraid that they're gonna be like an on-off switch where you go from like totally casual, no sweat whatsoever, and then the switch is flipped, and we start to look like I do right now because my room has piss poor circulation. But it's not really like that. It's more like, okay, it was 90% casual, 10% serious, an 85-15, and then 70-30. And so it's really just about what is that sweet blend between taking it casually and taking it seriously.
Yeah.
If we have builds and I see Ninja in the lobby, though, I'm going full 100% freaking sweaty tryhard. I'm coming for that motherfucker.
Ninja really don't play builds anymore. He usually plays zero builds. So you would probably find him there.
Watch this, Ninja, because I'm coming for you, motherfucker!
I can't wait to see you get whomped. Okay, I'm not saying Charles is a bad shot, but this is why I said I wanted to talk about Fortnite for a minute, because me and Charles played. Brand new season, boys. We played the brand new season.
Mad Max, freaking Twisted Metal, freaking made a freaking demon child.
Exactly, and you know what happens when you fuck around and find out? Well, you almost win. We did so good. We got down to the last player. And Charles, would you like to tell them what happened?
I ran in trying to back up your freaking ass, and you get fucking down, and then I have to freaking 1v1 this motherfucker, and this guy just freaking Hadouken my ass and killed me.
So, there was full communication going on this whole time. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get in close because Charles giving me cover. Charles even says, and I quote, "I'm laying down cover fire." So I go in to try to get some hits in. Cracked his shield, get him down. He has these new gauntlets things in there that are overpowered in weird ways. Downs me almost like that.
Fucking shurikens fucking and fly through the air like you're fucking Iron Man.
So that happens. I go down. And I'm like, okay, I'm pinging the guy so Charles knows exactly where he is. I'm on the ground still. I'm still in the game. I thought Charles was staying up on the hill. Charles ran down there quicker than a cat on fire. He saw me down. He went, "Oh, coming!" Fucking full speed.
In my defense, you were freaking in the middle of fighting the guy. By the time you got down, and I was already right there trying to back you up, freaking support you. And next thing you know, I have to be the one. Everything falls on me to freaking somehow win this 1v1. This motherfucker just freaking Akuma fucking die 1,000 fists my ass, freaking bends me over, makes me humble.
Yeah, Charles. So here's another reason why we want to bring this up. Charles actually apologized because he knew it was his fault, but he actually legitimately apologized for it, and I was like, "Oh fuck, no, we ain't taking this that serious." It was a situation where it's like, yeah, it would have been cool if we won because we were just fucking around, but in the same boat, it was like, I'm sorry. I'm like, fuck it. Who cares? Next round. Let's go. Joseph, you were plotting your hands like an evil man.
Yep.
Yep.
Just you're the one that said it. I got good memory, right? So I'm just sitting here listening to two of you regale the audience on the stories about Fortnite. Fortnite. And me sitting here, sort of like the weakest shot out of the three of us, going like, Fortnite. By the way, like I defended that game pretty heavily. Like I died on that hill. When we met, I had quit the game. I had moved on. It had been like, I don't know, like a year and a half, 2 years, which is a long time in gaming, especially because things come and go every 5 fucking minutes. And then I would not let it go because I just, for me, it's not about fighting about Fortnite or this game or that game or this song or that song or this or that movie. It's just to fight for quality. Is recognize when I see quality, I defend it. And I'll say it now, and I've been saying it the entire time. Fortnite is a great fucking game. It is a terrible fucking product. Constant promotion. They've lost their voice. as a game. Usually creative works, they find their voice as they progress and have a better idea of not what they want to say, hence the voice, but how that ties into their themes, how that ties into, yeah, sure, their marketing, how that ties into their story. Fortnite
Mhm.
had a voice. The music that they composed was specifically for it. The skins were often specifically for it, and you got the sense that the promotions were kind of like a sporadic thing that was pretty cool, but for the most part, it was a self-contained universe. And then, just like retail tracks started coming in, and now people are playing Guitar Hero on it, and there's a Lego mode. And this all stuff is all really cool, but it made Fortnite go from a specific experience that kind of has something to say, and now it's Walmart. It's just kind of everything all together.
Mhm.
And still not
Now
no
it's not
limited.
as
Yeah, still no limited build mode though, which would have been perfect for me. But whatever.
now it's the game that everybody knows. Thinking about the twerking Thanos emo freaking thing for him.
Yeah,
Oh, that came out of
yeah.
Fortnite.
I
Yes.
remember like when Fortnite blew up, and then and Jen and I we were going out. I think that was like the first or second year we were dating. It was pretty early on, and I would just a whole generation of kids were just comfortable dancing, doing the floss, whatever it was, dancing in public, and those dances were part of Fortnite's voice. It was a way for people to kind of communicate in a funny way. Like, oh, I'm a Fortnite player, you're a Fortnite player. Let's hook up. Let's start playing. And that's gone now because everything is tied into an already existing brand. And so, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, you like that song too. I guess I also like that song, but you could just wear a T-shirt with that song. So yeah, it's not often that you see that a game really like loses its way, and then even from a gameplay point of view, the fact that like there are bots now in a lot of these rounds has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. But I don't want to get into the bot issue. Just make the bots a little bit better.
Okay. With that, I will say the bots became a little bit better.
Okay, they
So
don't just crouch and shoot walk towards you anymore.
they still do that somewhat, but now they're actually going to the point where they actually will go behind cover, come back out, and change spots at cover. And I'm like, is that a person or a bot? Like when I have to ask myself, what is it? Is it a bot or a person? They're doing a better job
Yep.
at figuring out what bots are actually doing to emulate people. But the same problem I have though is why do we need bots when it shows, unless these numbers are fake, why do we need bots when it shows over 500,000 people playing?
Yep. It's a great question. I can venture an answer. The short answer, so that I don't bury the lead for the next 5 minutes, is skill based matchmaking is more important than matchmaking. So this is something that has this is very much like an old world versus new world kind of episode that we're doing here, but the only other way to matchmake in a game, if you're not doing any kind of skill-based one with ELO or rankings or ratings, is just Wild West, which is you just join a game, you have no idea who the fuck is in it, and they might kick your ass, and that might not seem very fun. And that was where a lot of the fear comes from, is if people have like an excruciatingly bad time, will just like give up on the game. But then the really dedicated people like myself who thought, man, this game is hardcore. Like it'll kick your ass and not say sorry. So that was actually what drew me into learning the mechanics at the time. This used to happen in like Warcraft 3, the custom map Dota, which eventually became Dota 2 by Valve, was Wild West, right? The
Mm-hmm.
only thing that determined matchmaking was who got into the lobby fast enough. And you might end up being pitted against somebody who's won a tournament, and you'll get your head flushed down a toilet. But that's actually like a way better system, so long as you can watch what happened. If you can go in and watch replays and observe player behavior, you can see how the distance between me as a player and the person who flushed my head down the toilet. That is actually really important to development. Is you got to know what to expect. But skill-based matchmaking which is the answer to the question is now why do we have all these bots? Is because players are now, but developers or publishers are afraid that players are going to have a bad time, and so they will sacrifice those moments of absolute brilliance for a more like consistent experience where you still win some, you'll still lose some, but you never like lose more than the game is willing to risk letting you lose. And so that would be why is so that players can feel like wieners. They want to wean.
You want to
They
win.
want to wean.
Okay, I mean that's a pretty solid answer. I will say though, most of my games that I've won, I actually looked at the stats before we started the podcast. I've won 13 games of Fortnite and only played 400. So I've only played, and that's with everyone. So it's like stats aren't bad, but now I'm like looking at going. Every time we get to the end game, it's never bots. Now they might have bots with them, but they're never bots. And so that is one thing I'm happy about is when you start getting closer to the end where skills are really needed, you're really not running against bots. So it's definitely nice to see because and then you actually know, hey, if you win, you actually won because you fought a player. But skill-based matchmaking does make sense. I remember in the Black Ops 2 days before I went pro, I would have one game where it's like, man, I didn't do so good. And then next game, I want the floor, and I'm like, I'm actually pretty damn good. Next game, I get fucking trashed. They went ahead, raced through the screen, unplugged my controller, and went back in. Like, that's how bad it was. I was playing with the fucking controller upside down and didn't know it. And it's like, dude, it was, but that got me to play better, though. Like, that's why I ended up going pro. That's why I want to check this. But unless the hackers really fucked it up, I should be in the top 1,000 players in Black Ops 2. And last time I ever looked at the leaderboard, I was like in the 700s. Now, grant you, that could change due to the hackers cheating. But if it's not, that once again shows you how much time and dedication I had in the game, where I was the top 1,000 players of a game that had over 22 million players.
That's
pretty fucking good.
Does that say something? Does that say something that I was good at Black Ops 2? That if I came close, if I only lost you by like a handful of kills when we 1v1'd each other?
Well, that's all for the start. I'm joking. We will be wrapping up here soon. But no, you're honestly, if your shots are good and they're getting better, especially in games like Fortnite, the biggest thing you have is communication. If you got communication down, you could be in like actual competitive games. Like that's what I had to learn I had to learn out call outs and communications. And if you make a code name, the people you are playing with, make sure they know what the fucking code names are. Not going lake house, and they're going, we're in the fucking desert. What lake house? And so if you communicate with the team, it's much easier that way. But I mean, a lot of you just due to certain things and rewatching your plays. If you die and stuff like that, theater mode on like Call of Duty was such a great thing because that's how I learned. I had to, or I was in the tournaments and I got to watch myself fucking lose, and I'm like, damn, that's embarrassing. Over 100 people just watched me get fucking creamed by this kid with one hand. Awesome, cool, great. And then it's like, oh, I see what he did. I was loud as fuck, came around a corner. He clearly knew I was coming there because you can hear my footsteps the whole way through. It's like, no wonder why he fucking knew I was around a corner. So it's like, if you watch, learn, educate yourself, yeah. Are you better than me? Probably not. Just realistically, I put a lot of time and effort into the game. Would you play on a team with me and get second with me all the time? Yes, because you have done it multiple times. You've had games that you've done better than me at. So, yeah. No, you're a good shot. I mean, hell, in Fortnite...
In Halo, thinking this,
not bad.
Especially in Halo, there's been times where I've done better than you in Halo.
That is also true, and I'm totally fine with you being better at me in Halo, other than snipers only, because we won't talk about that game. But besides that, yes, I mean, but and once again, it's all different about game modes because you have the Halos where you have SWAT. I'm great at SWAT because it actually takes aim, precision, quick reaction time. That's what I need. I need stuff like that because that's how I get my reflexes. versus unloading a whole clip and praying to God every one of those shots landed before I had to reload, so then I could then hide like a bitch so I can get the next guy. That's why Halo Infinite is actually not bad. You can kill someone with your assault rifle and then turn and kill another guy, then reload. It's a little bit better. So I actually
follow the old adage from freaking Call of Duty 4 and switch to your pistol.
You could also do that, but my opinion of a game is you should have to dump a whole fucking clip into somebody and then be like, how did he kill me? I should be like, hey, I dumped the whole clip into him, killed him, and then the other guy killed me. Not over here going, a whole fucking clip, body shots, and then you tell me he's still ain't fucking dead? He's over there fucking giving me the fucking flossing shakes. I don't understand what that was. I shouldn't have to sit there and play a million reasons to figure out how the fuck did I not kill this man. I don't like Halo multiplayer. I've said it many times. Like, I love playing it with friends and stuff like that because it is fun. I love the campaign. But I hate playing multiplayer if it's not SWAT. If it's not SWAT, nope. I'm out. I ain't doing it. I ain't fucking doing it. I need some skill. I need some way to learn. I need some way to educate myself. I was trying to say educate myself, but it didn't work. Go ahead.
And I'm of the camp that freaking to this day where I don't like skill-based matchmaking. I like the old days, like freaking of like the old Halo day and the old Call of Duty days, where I just get put. I get put a game. I just get put whoever. And if there's just one motherfucker that's sitting in the back that's fucking no scoping me from across the freaking map somehow, then that guy's freaking clearly good.
I do love today's theme. We came in without a theme, and we created a theme of why old games are coming back. Why are old games better than new games? Absolutely love it. We did that pretty well. But we're already an hour in. Do we have any last little bit we wanted to add in before we cut the cord?
It's an Xbox game showcase in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I was just wanted to ask real quick. Are we? I feel like this is it for the season. I feel like we're pretty. We got because summer is just days away. Well, June is days away, but as far as I'm concerned, June is summer. So I don't know if we need to do at least like try like one official send off, try to get Funker or maybe some other guests in. But I think we're pretty much done.
We should try to like do one last podcast, and that last podcast doesn't need to be a long one. Just like, hey, this is the end of the season. Hey, this is what's upcoming. This is what we're hoping to do. Here's what we're hoping to have, and stuff like that. But I totally forgot. So we've canceled the podcast quite a handful of times because of me, because I haven't been here because I'm a bitch. So haven't been here to record a lot. So we've canceled it quite a few times. We had plans to do
Is there like 3 or 4 other episodes that still need to be edited together and uploaded?
There's only one now. There's only one, and it's the AI episode.
What about the episode after that?
What episode did we do after that?
We did the one where I wasn't on my computer, and
you're on your phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta get that one edited. Yeah, because you're doing the AI one. Gotta get that one.
AI,
the two truths come lots.
Two truths.
No, yeah, there's that.
Two truths come lots.
Bro,
Please tell me that's your new name for it.
I would love to make the name, but it's gonna make no sense in the title because 5 episodes away.
That's okay. I know what's in my head now. That's okay.
You're gonna read it going, 2 truths, 1 come lie. But the 2 truths, 1 lie is coming out tomorrow. And then after that, I'm gonna try to jump ahead, and I'm gonna release Smash or Pass on Friday. And then after Friday, if Joseph has it ready, we're going to release the AI one. And then after that, we're going to release the boys episode. And then we're going to release this one. I'm going to try to release them quickly because we held back because busy. And that's the goal. That is the goal. I'm going to find a way to be able to record the podcast, even if I'm in California with no equipment. I'm going to find a way to do it.
Oh, don't worry. I found the way. I mean, I've subscribed. I had to subscribe to the Zoom platform because I got the new client now. Yeah. So I'm now a host of another B2B podcast. That's a software company. Pretty good. I say, I'm not gonna say another because that was just fucking glib. doing good. So I found doing B2B content hosting has been a really good niche for me. So I got a new project to be a part of without, abandoning the last project. And yeah, it's like a software company. I hesitate to call it like straightforward at this point, but it is my job, and at a certain point, you do start to um, figure out what the patterns of it are. But yeah, so got that new clients to look forward to. Trying to pick up another one or two as well. So work wise, it's still all over the place, but I am trying, and that effort is paying off. But the point is that I've got a subscription to Zoom now, and so we can just record on Zoom, and then you can just enter the call from wherever you are. So even if you're in California, then you'll be fine.
Okay, yeah, because that's been the biggest reason why we haven't been able to record these episodes for you guys, is because I have to be here, and I know Joseph can record, but his laptop is like a ticking fucking time bomb. Who knows
Not
what it's
like
going to do?
a ticking time bomb. It's a ticking time bomb.
So we don't know if it's just going to stop in the middle of a recording session, and if it's anything like the Two Truths One Lie, I lost my footage because my power went out,
Yep.
and I was like, no, we're fucked. But luckily, Joseph was also recording, so it was like we had it, and Zoom automatically records it. So that would be a lifesaver to have. So yeah, we'll make that work so we don't miss episodes. We might even switch to doing some live at this rate, just so we are always guaranteed to be like, hey, we got it out, no editing needed, we got this.
There's always editing needed. But the script, there's always going to be editing needed.
Only when you.
But I will say,
it.
I feel more confident about doing lives now because I think we have a good understanding of what are the boundaries, and how we manage to push those boundaries and take a piss over those boundaries. But at least we know them.
Yeah, we know them. We figured it out. We got through with it. I'm not gonna grow a mustache anymore. Bad things happen when I have a mustache.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that mustache. I don't know what you did to deserve the reverse Hitler, but that's what you got on your face.
And just like that, everybody, if you love the Scorner podcast as much as I do, leave a like, subscribe, listen to it anywhere you want to. Until then, that's all we got for you tonight. Goodbye.
Jake Paul got his ass knocked out by Mike Tyson.
No, he didn't.